Every morning, billions of people do the same thing. They pick up a small plastic tube, squeeze out a strip of minty paste, and scrub their teeth for 2 minutes. It feels normal, almost boring, but if you had lived thousands of years ago, your toothpaste might have contained crushed eggshells, ashes, powdered rock, salt, and in some places, even urine. Yes, urine. For most of human history, people did not brush their teeth to get a perfect white smile. They brushed because bad teeth could mean pain, infection, hunger, and sometimes death. So how did humanity go from rubbing charcoal on teeth to using bright blue gel from a tube? This is the strange, surprisingly gross history of toothpaste. Long before toothpaste existed, humans still had teeth problems, but early humans had a very different diet from ours. They ate tough roots, meat, nuts, seeds, and wild plants. Their food was rough. It often contained sand, grit, and tiny pieces of stone from grinding grains. That sounds terrible for teeth, and it was. Early humans often had heavily worn teeth, but they may have had fewer cavities than many people do today because they were not eating large amounts of refined sugar. Then agriculture changed everything. As humans began growing grains, eating more starchy foods, and eventually consuming sugar, tooth decay became much more common. Bacteria in the mouth feed on sugars and carbohydrates. Those bacteria produce acids, and those acids slowly eat away at tooth enamel. Today, that process is familiar. We call it a cavity. But thousands of years ago, there were no dentists with drills, fillings, painkillers, or x-rays. If you had tooth pain, you might try herbs. You might pull the tooth out, or you might simply suffer. That is why people began experimenting with ways to clean their mouths. Some of the earliest known recipes for tooth cleaning powders come from ancient Egypt. Around 5,000 years ago, Egyptians were making mixtures from ingredients such as powdered ashes, crushed eggshells, ground animal hooves, myrrh, and pumice-like materials. Imagine waking up in ancient Egypt. You do not reach for a smooth plastic toothbrush. You take a rough powder, mix it with water, and rub it against your teeth with your finger or a small cloth. It was probably not pleasant. It may have tasted awful, and some of it was likely too abrasive. But the goal was clear: remove food, reduce bad breath, and stop teeth from rotting. The Egyptians understood something important. A clean mouth was better than a dirty one. They just had not yet discovered the gentle, minty formula we use today. As tooth cleaning ideas spread, different civilizations created their own recipes. The Greeks and Romans used mixtures that could include crushed bones, crushed oyster shells, charcoal, powdered brick, and salt. Some formulas were so harsh that they could wear down tooth enamel. In other words, people were trying to protect their teeth by scrubbing them with something almost like sandpaper. But ancient people had another problem: bad breath. Without modern toothpaste, mouthwash, gum, or dental care, people used strong-smelling herbs and spices to freshen their mouths: mint, cinnamon, myrrh, honey, salt, and other plant-based ingredients. They were not only cleaning their teeth, they were trying to make their breath less terrifying. And then came one of the strangest methods in dental history. In ancient Rome, some people used urine as a mouth rinse or tooth cleaning ingredient. That may sound completely unbelievable today, but there was a reason. Old urine contains ammonia, and ammonia can help break down stains. The Romans noticed that urine could help make cloth cleaner and brighter, so some people believed it could also whiten teeth. In fact, urine from certain places became so valuable that it was traded. Imagine that. A person selling urine, not for farming, not for medicine, but because people wanted whiter teeth. It is one of the clearest reminders that people in the past were just as concerned about appearance as we are today. They wanted clean teeth, they wanted fresh breath, they wanted a better smile. They just had very different options. Before toothpaste became a paste, people also needed something to clean with. For thousands of years, many cultures used chewing sticks. A small twig would be chewed at one end until its fibers spread apart like a brush. Then the person would rub the frayed end across their teeth. This was not a useless, primitive idea. Some chewing sticks came from plants with antibacterial properties. In parts of Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, people have used them for centuries. One famous example is the miswak, a tooth cleaning stick traditionally made from the Salvadora persica tree. Even today, many people still use it. Later, more recognizable toothbrushes appeared. In China, people developed brushes made with animal bristles attached to handles, often bamboo or bone. These early brushes were much rougher than modern toothbrushes. Imagine brushing your teeth with stiff pig hair. It probably worked, but it was not exactly comfortable. Eventually, toothbrushes reached Europe, where they became more common among wealthier people. But there was still one major problem. Most people did not have toothpaste as we know it. They had powders, and powders were messy. By the 1700s and 1800s, tooth cleaning powders became popular in Europe and America. Some contained soap, chalk, charcoal, baking soda, salt, and ground minerals. Some were sold by chemists, some were made at home, some were advertised as miracle products that could whiten teeth, strengthen gums, freshen breath, and make people more attractive. That part has not changed much. Even today, toothpaste companies make big promises: white teeth, fresh breath, stronger enamel, a dazzling smile. The difference is that modern toothpaste is based on much more dental science. At least, most of it is. In the past, some tooth powders were too abrasive. Others contained ingredients that were ineffective. Some could even damage the teeth they were supposed to protect. And then, one invention changed everything. In the 19th century, toothpaste began to become a smooth paste rather than a dry powder. That alone was a huge improvement. A paste was easier to use. It stuck to the brush. It could be flavored. It could be packaged. At first, toothpaste was often sold in jars. You had to dip your toothbrush inside. That may not sound terrible until you imagine an entire family sharing one jar, everyone dipping their brush into the same paste. Not ideal. Then, in the late 1800s, the collapsible tube changed the game. The idea came from paint tubes used by artists. A dentist named Dr. Washington Sheffield is often credited with selling toothpaste in a collapsible tube in the 1890s. Now, people could squeeze out the exact amount they needed. No mess, no shared jar, no powder flying everywhere, no ancient eggshell mixture. The toothpaste tube made oral hygiene more convenient. And when something becomes convenient, people are much more likely to do it every day. But convenience was not the biggest breakthrough. Fluoride was. For centuries, people had tried to clean teeth. But cleaning teeth is only one part of preventing decay. Scientists eventually discovered that fluoride could help strengthen tooth enamel and make teeth more resistant to acids. This was enormous. It meant toothpaste could do more than make your mouth feel clean. It could help protect your teeth. Fluoride toothpaste became widely available in the 20th century, and it transformed dental health in many parts of the world. Tooth decay did not disappear. But for millions of people, brushing with fluoride toothpaste became one of the simplest ways to reduce cavities. A small change in a bathroom routine could prevent years of pain. That is incredible when you think about it. A tube of paste became one of the most important public health tools in history. Now, let us talk about the taste. Why is toothpaste usually minty? Why not strawberry steak flavor, or coffee flavor, or pizza flavor? The answer is simple: mint feels clean. Even though mint does not literally prove your teeth are cleaner, the cool sensation creates a powerful feeling of freshness. Toothpaste companies understood this. Mint also helps cover unpleasant flavors from other ingredients. Because, let's be honest, no one wants their toothpaste to taste like chalk, soap, burnt ash, or ancient Roman urine. Over time, toothpaste became part of a larger idea: personal hygiene. Fresh breath became associated with confidence. White teeth became associated with beauty. A clean smile became connected to health, professionalism, and social status. Toothpaste was no longer just a survival product. It became part of how people presented themselves to the world. But the obsession with perfect teeth can also go too far. Modern advertising has convinced many people that every tooth should be perfectly white, perfectly straight, and completely flawless. But healthy teeth are not always bright white, and harsh whitening products can sometimes damage enamel or irritate gums. The goal should not be to have teeth that look like a movie star's teeth under studio lights. The goal should be to keep your real teeth healthy for as long as possible. Because your teeth do not grow back. Once adult teeth are gone, they are gone. That is why the boring advice is still the best advice. Brush regularly. Use fluoride toothpaste where appropriate. Clean between your teeth. And see a dental professional when you can. Not because toothpaste companies say so, but because people throughout history would have done almost anything to avoid the pain we can prevent today. For thousands of years, humans experimented with almost everything they could find: ash, salt, charcoal, crushed shells, animal bones, herbs, soap, and yes, urine. All because tooth pain was one of the most miserable problems a person could face. Today, we stand in front of a mirror, squeeze minty paste from a tube, and often do not think twice about it. But that tiny strip of toothpaste carries thousands of years of trial, error, strange ideas, scientific breakthroughs, and human desperation. It is the result of a very long journey, from ancient Egyptians grinding eggshells, to Romans whitening with ammonia, to people brushing with twigs, to the modern tube sitting beside your sink. So, the next time you brush your teeth, remember, you are not just cleaning your mouth. You are using one of humanity's oldest survival rituals, thankfully, without the urine. What everyday thing should mow? Explains Uncover next.